This is the afternoon weather briefing. This is for Thursday, the 2nd of March. I'm James Spann. Alabama's weather today, fairly calm. Of course, it's wet, but a really dynamic system coming in here tomorrow. Very strong wind fields at the surface and aloft, and that's going to set the stage for a very windy day with a chance of severe storms during the morning, maybe early afternoon hours. Timing adjusted a little bit, so let's go in here and take a look at what's to come. Very active 24-hour stretch ahead. This is the upper air look, and you can see that very intense trough digging down into West Texas. The upper low is near El Paso. Underneath that, with dynamic cooling, we've had snow in parts of southern Arizona, around Tucson today. Albuquerque getting some snowflakes and graupel today. But around here, it's overcast for the northern half of the state. South Alabama, a little filtered sunshine. And rain is fairly widespread for North Alabama, the northern half of the state. And as expected, there's no severe storms. The air is cool and stable, just a lot of rain. Where the rain is falling, temperatures are in the upper 50s and low 60s. Birmingham 58, Anniston 59, Tuscaloosa 63. Pretty far below guidance today. Models have not handled the situation today that well. But down in South Alabama, Dothan is at 80, Mobile is at 76. So the main concern tomorrow is wind. There is now a high wind warning issued by the National Weather Service in Huntsville for the counties they serve in the Tennessee Valley. You can see that lighter shade of brown up in the Tennessee Valley, and the rest of the state under a wind advisory for tomorrow. And forget storms, away from storms, the gradient winds will be very strong. Possibly strong enough to knock down some trees and cause some power outages, even with no thunderstorms involved. And, of course, you factor in the storms, it's going to be a pretty rocky morning tomorrow for the state. We've also got flash flood watches in effect for North Mississippi, the Tennessee Valley as well, up into parts of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Winter storm watches for parts of Michigan and the northeast United States. So it's going to be a really active evening and night tonight for areas west of Alabama. We have a level 4 out of 5 moderate risk from near Dallas-Fort Worth to south of Little Rock. The areas there in red, that would include Shreveport, Texarkana, Tyler, Longview. An enhanced risk running all the way over to Memphis. And again, keep in mind this outlook runs through 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And a little sliver of Alabama involved in that. That's in case some of the storms slip in here before 6. But the main threat for Alabama comes after 6 o'clock tomorrow. And we do note that SPC has introduced an enhanced risk north of the state for Nashville, back up toward Louisville and parts of Tennessee and Kentucky. In Alabama, we've got the standard slight risk. That's level 2 out of 5 for areas north of a line from near Thomasville to Greenville and Eufaula. The areas in yellow on that map. And then South Alabama, below that, under a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk. And much more on the threats and the timing here in just a second as we go through modeling. And then on day 3, which is Saturday, no severe weather expected across the country. Here's the rain for the next 7 days. For the northern half of the state, rain amounts between 1 and 2 inches. For South Alabama, the amount's generally under 1/2 inch. So this is tomorrow morning, and you can see a very dynamic negative tilt shortwave with very strong wind fields just west of the state, and that's very favorable for severe storms here. The models continue to trend slower with the line of storms, and so we made some adjustments in the timing. This is the high-resolution rapid refresh model, the HRR, HRRR. And this is valid tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And really, it's got that line of storms pushing in here 8 to 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So again, you can see with each batch of model data we're seeing, the arrival times are a little later here. So it might be 7 or 8 o'clock before that line of storms hits the Alabama-Mississippi state line. This is the forecast instability. And again, the numbers are not really that much for March, but certainly they're sufficient for a few severe storms within the line. But the wind dynamics are just tremendous. This is the storm relative helicity, and those numbers are just screaming there for the northern half of the state, not as impressive for South Alabama. And this is the significant tornado parameter. And again, the numbers are generally in the 1 to 4 unit range. And there certainly could be a few isolated tornadoes within that line. Let's make that perfectly clear. There could be a few tornado warnings tomorrow morning. But again, the greater concern, it's the potential for damaging straight line winds. convective winds with that line. They might hit 60, 70 miles an hour in spots. And away from the storms, again, it's going to be really windy, the gradient winds. And as you look at this map, these are 10-meter wind gusts, not right at the surface, but this is suggesting that a pretty good chunk of the state will see winds gusting to 40, 45 miles an hour. And up in the Tennessee Valley, the winds may be gusting to 55 or 60 miles an hour. That's the reason for the high wind warning for the Tennessee Valley. So between those gradient winds and the convective winds, the winds with the line of storms, there could be a lot of trees knocked down tomorrow morning. And there could be a lot of power outages. So I'm just giving you fair warning here. So you might want to charge your stuff, your devices, your electronic doodads, and just be prepared for the power to go out tomorrow morning with all of that wind. And the other advice I would give you is to pay attention to severe thunderstorm warnings. I think we'll have more of those than tornado warnings, but on a day like this with the very impressive kinematic fields, you just need to pay attention to those, especially if you live in a mobile home. Because you don't want to be in a trailer with these kind of winds and all that. So severe thunderstorm warnings are going to be pretty important tomorrow morning. So be very weather aware between about 6 and 2. In fact, here's the latest timing. And again, you can see how the timing has been adjusted. For the western side of the state now, we're projecting 6 until 10 a.m. That would include Tuscaloosa, Hamilton, Fayette, the Shoals, York, Livingston, Utah. So tomorrow morning, the window for strong to severe storms, 6 until 10. For that central strip of the state, this would include Huntsville, Birmingham, Montgomery, Cullman, Clanton. The window between 8 a.m. and 12 noon. And then for East Alabama, the window between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So with that later arrival time, it might be 2 o'clock before the storms get out of here and into Georgia. So it's beginning to look like a mid to late morning, early afternoon type event now. And again, obviously, if you watch these videos, you're a weather dweeb, but just let your friends know it's going to be a really rough start to the day tomorrow. And pay close attention to warnings, including severe thunderstorm warnings. So let's go to 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. This is the GFS, the 12Z run, and you can see that negative tilt shortwave lifting north of the state. And at that point, the storm should be in Georgia. Very deep surface low that's southwest of Indianapolis. Snow for Chicago and southern Michigan with this. And again, very windy from all the way from the deep south up to the Great Lakes with that feature. Highs tomorrow should be in the 70s. But then a beautiful weekend coming up. Saturday's looking good. We start the day in the 40s. The high will be in the 60s for North Alabama, 70s for the southern counties of the state. And Sunday, the low around 40. We're going to see some 30s for the colder pockets early Sunday in North Alabama. But the high Sunday should be in the 70s statewide. Just a beautiful, beautiful day on Sunday. Next week on Monday, moisture begins to come back. We'll have the chance of showers mainly for the southern half of the state. We'll be in the 70s. Tuesday, a chance of showers. And again, this run suggesting the better chance could be over South Alabama. Wednesday, some risk of showers pretty much statewide with a surface boundary dropping in here. And cooler air filters in. That's a pretty cold high up north. We might see 50s Wednesday for North Alabama. And this is a week from today, Thursday, the 9th of March. A northwest flow aloft and a very dry air mass, a cool, dry day. Let's go out 10 days. This is Sunday, the 12th of March. Again, we have a northwest flow aloft, and that looks nice and quiet. Rain for Birmingham off the European ensemble. The mean, that green line, between 3 and 4 inches between now and the 17th of March. Temperatures coming off the national blend of models. This is for Birmingham. Your number could vary. 76 tomorrow, upper 60s on Saturday, then back in the 70s for Sunday in the first part of next week, and then highs closer to 60 by the end of next week. And hot off the presses, got the brand new CPC Outlook. This is for March 10th through the 16th, and look at all of the blue on that map. Temperatures below average for the lower 48. And again, we're expecting pretty decent cold snaps here in the latter half of March. And understand they don't last long this time of the year, thankfully, but I firmly believe we have several more freezes to go here. What do we do now? We roll that Pepsi Kid Cam video. Boaz, Alabama. Look at that crowd in the lunchroom at Boaz Intermediate School. Wow. Had the 4th and the 5th grade in there, and they were just great today. We had so much fun talking about the weather. It was a great time. And look at this cake. Just something about that cake looks good to me. Wow, that's a piece of art right there. But again, to all the teachers and the faculty and everybody at Boaz Intermediate School. That was a great visit. And then it was to Hoover for my buddies in kindergarten at Green Valley Elementary School. Been there many, many, many times over the years, and those kindergarten students were looking good. They were great, great listeners today, talking about the weather. And, I got really, this might be a first. In that goodie basket, you know what's going on here? Those are James Spann socks. I've never had Spann socks before. That's outstanding. Wow. But again, for everybody out at Green Valley, thanks a lot. That was just great. The kids were so good today, and I say they're ready to go to first grade. They're looking great. All right, so that's going to wrap up this afternoon update here. We'll have notes on the blog. That is alabamawx.com. If you're new here, we do these every day during the week. In the morning about 5:15, in the afternoon about 2:30, weekends as needed. And again, I was scheduled to be at Rock Quarry Elementary in Tuscaloosa tomorrow. We have moved that because of the severe weather. We'll be here in the weather office throughout the morning, watching and doing updates as needed. So stay with us, and we got you covered. We'll be across the hall, Studio A, ABC 3340 News this evening. Join us at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a marvelous evening, and God bless.